How's it feel being back out here?
It feels pretty good, being able to get out here with some of the younger guys and kind of learn and develop along with the new coaches is pretty fun.
New defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
What is new about seeing new defensive coordinator? You got new schemes and
Yeah.
stuff, a little bit different than defense than you played in last year. What's the biggest change in that?
Definitely the intensity, I feel like, is a lot different. It's a lot different attitude towards defense and whatnot. So I think that's probably the biggest change, per se, from this year to last year.
You were having such a good camp last year, probably the best camp you've had since you've been in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And then you kind of had that abrupt stop.
Yeah.
Take me through kind of that situation and how frustrating was that for you, but also you had to put in perspective, this is your health. This is physical. This is not an ankle injury.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty frustrating. It was definitely a big change for me, trying to come back from an injury that was a little bit different than most other injuries. But at the end of the day, I was very glad for my teammates for supporting me throughout all this and pushing me to get back out here. So that's all I can ask for.
It wasn't an ankle injury. It wasn't a knee injury.
Yeah.
So they just completely did in with the back, and
Yeah.
you had something else after the back.
Yeah.
How much in perspective did you have to keep things that this is going to be a long road?
I wasn't even thinking about that. It's more like a day-to-day, just trying to motivate myself to keep going. And like I said, my teammates helping me out and whatnot. So it's kind of, when it ends, it ends, But,
How disappointing was that, but how in perspective did you have to keep what you had to go through last year? I mean, everybody goes through an injury at some point.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty disappointing. I felt like I was, like you said, having a really good camp and whatnot and really doing well for myself. And kind of having that setback was a little disappointing from last year, but I think it's going to set up this year even better.
You had a big contract last year, family taken care of for life.
Yeah.
Entering year 5 in the league. How different do you feel now? You're the elder statesman on the defensive line almost with that.
Honestly, it feels like it's flown by, but I don't feel too different from my rookie year. I feel like still like the young guy, but obviously that's changed. People come in and whatnot, but it's kind of weird. Things fly by really quickly.
How different does your role change in this defense? How unique is it from last year?
Yeah, I mean, just overall, just being a leader in our room and overall defense is kind of my new thing for this year, and I'm excited to take on that role.
Are you a vocal kind of guy, or is that something you got to learn?
I'm more of I don't know how to say it, but more by action more than anything. I think, I'm not a huge vocal guy, not a huge rah-rah guy, but, when I get out in the field, I play. So,
is that something you've had to kind of go into? A lot of guys, despite being the perception of football players and stuff, a lot of guys are quiet. DaVon is kind of a quiet guy, and being a leader on that line, a fifth-year guy now.
Yeah.
You got to assume more of that vocal kind of guy, and probably more so in Ryanson's defense.
Yeah, I actually really appreciate our new staff for that, because they're really not asking me to be anything other than myself. I mean, I'm not, like I said, not a huge rah-rah guy, but if I can go out there and do my job to the best degree and do it better than anybody else, that's what they would like to see from me.
How many kids now you have?
Right now?
Yeah.
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah.
2 years old?
He's about almost a year old. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, how has that been?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, outside of being hurt and having to stay at home and whatnot, I mean, it has given me a lot of time with my son, so it's been good in that part.
I remember talking to DaVon, going over his house after he delivered his baby girl.
Yeah.
And and going through, he already had a kid, but you're starting the process all over again, raising a newborn and stuff like that. What have you learned in being a first-time father?
Hey, there's a lot of changes. Once you get used to one thing, something else comes up. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's a very enjoyable experience for sure.
Good deal.
Yeah.